carrying 300 Ghanaian nationals evacuated from South Africa due to anti-immigration protests has landed in Accra. The group, which included women and children, arrived at the airport in Ghana's capital on Wednesday. Authorities described their evacuation as a voluntary repatriation process for Ghanaian citizens who no longer feel safe in South Africa amid rising xenophobia that has left migrants facing harassment, job losses and violence.
The former personal assistant to actor Matthew Perry has been sentenced to 41 months in prison in connection with the television star's death from a fatal dose of the hallucinogenic drug ketamine. On Wednesday, Judge Sherilyn Garnett issued the sentence against Kenneth Iwamasa in a Los Angeles courtroom.
The United States stock market has been hovering near record highs, and oil prices have plunged amid new hope that a ceasefire deal between the US and Iran is close. The rally came on Wednesday as negotiations continued between Washington and Tehran, with markets betting that a deal would reopen the vital Strait of Hormuz, easing oil and gas supply concerns and soothing the global economy, afflicting the deep uncertainty of flake. Triomics, a startup building an AI-powered platform to help oncologists and administrative staff automate data-heavy tasks like clinical trial matching and appointment prep, has raised $22 million in Series B funding. The round was led by Battery Ventures, with participation from returning backers Nexus Venture Partners, Lightspeed, Y Combinator and others. Rivian has finally revealed that the first customers of the company's new R2 SUV will get their vehicles on June 9. The automaker has spent the last few months ramping up its efforts to release the R2 than its current R1 lineup. The new SUV will initially be available in a trim that starts just under $60,000, trim that starts just to release a standard version that starts at $48,000, a standard version that starts at $48,490 in 2027.
United States President Donald Trump has threatened to use military force against Oman if it collaborates with Iran to assert control over the Strait of Hormuz. At a cabinet meeting on Wednesday, a reporter asked Trump to weigh in on the idea of Oman and Iran overseeing trade on the strategic waterway, which handles more than 20% of the world's global oil traffic.
Republicans in the southern state of Alabama have petitioned the United States Supreme Court to approve a congressional election map previously ruled to be racially discriminatory. On Wednesday, the state's Republican leadership called on the High Court to rule by Monday so that the map could be used for the 2026 midterm elections. Cloud data storage giant Snowflake has signed a new $6 billion 5-year agreement with Amazon Web Services, the companies it's announced on Wednesday. Snowflake has always run on AWS, though obviously these days it is also available on Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud. For comparison on just how big this deal is for these companies, Snowflake has sold $7 billion worth of its services via AWS Marketplace totals since it was founded in 2012, AWS says. So this new contract is close to all the money it has ever brought in from that cloud.
Eid al-Adha, one of the most important dates in the Islamic calendar, comes at a critical time for Iranians this year. Meat from sacrificed animals is often eaten at Iranian tables, but a blockade on Iranian ports and sanctions by the US has led to escalating costs across the country. Belgium and France have summoned Russia's ambassadors to express anger after Moscow urged foreigners to leave Kyiv in advance of planned systematic strikes. Brussels and Paris said on Wednesday that Russia's announcement earlier in the week was unacceptable and a violation of international law.
Russian lawmakers have passed a bill to allow trained bank employees to shoot down Ukrainian drones amid an increase in the number of attacks. The draft legislation, which would see banks across Russia install electronic jamming systems while selected employees would shoot down incoming unmanned aircraft, passed in its third and final reading in the lower house Duma on Tuesday, according to the state-run TASS news agency.
India's Interior Minister has ordered the demolition of buildings along the border with Pakistan, as well as actions to combat a variety of trans-border crimes. Home Minister Amit Shah announced on Wednesday that buildings deemed illegal would be destroyed. In a statement, he explained that means that buildings within 15 kilometres, 9 miles of the border, will be torn down.
Remote, a 7-year-old Amsterdam-based payroll service provider, says it recently surpassed $300 million in annual recurring revenue and became cash flow positive. But the real story, it insists, is what happened behind the scenes. 50% increase in revenue per employee after the startup adopted AI at every level of the organisation. As we are talking, on the second screen of my laptop, I have 5 different Claude instances running, building different things, and some of those are for me, but a lot of them are for remote. CEO Job van der Voort tells TechCrunch. This includes a Slack agent that summarises discussions, as well as experiments with agentic AI. But the bigger picture is that Remote is now generating more revenue without increasing its headcount. Despite suggestions that a deal between the United States and Iran may be close, officials from both countries have continued to issue conflicting statements, signalling an ongoing diplomatic impasse. Speaking at Wednesday's cabinet meeting, US President Donald Trump said Iran would not receive any sanctions relief as a result of the negotiations, despite Iran's demands otherwise. Rescue teams have recovered 5 of 7 villagers who had been trapped for more than a week in a flooded cave in central Laos. The quintet was found alive on Wednesday. Lao and Thai teams said that they were continuing the search for 2 others who remain missing. Canada has announced plans to buy a fleet of early warning planes from Sweden's Saab, rather than a competing option from Boeing as it seeks to reduce its reliance on the United States. Prime Minister Mark Carney said on Wednesday that Canada would opt for GlobalEye, which is based on Bombardier's Global 6500 jet. Boeing's E-7 wedge-tail plane, which has suffered from delays and cost overruns, had also been in contention.
A website called UK Visa Portal publicly exposed thousands of passports and selfie photos of applicants who paid the site to obtain a UK immigration visa. TechCrunch has learned an anonymous person notified TechCrunch about the security lapse, saying that the website was exposing at least 100,000 documents from people who have the application process as part of the application process. Part of the case and hosts and
A rare albino buffalo in Bangladesh, nicknamed Donald Trump because of its blonde tuft, has been spared from Eid al-Adha sacrifice after a last-minute government intervention. The nearly 700 kilogram animal had already been sold for ritual slaughter when authorities stepped in. Officials cited security concerns and a sharp rise in public interest ahead of the Eid festival.
Pakistan's legendary fast bowler Wasim Akram is currently in Saudi Arabia to perform Hajj. A video of the former left-arm pacer, famously known as the Sultan of Swing, pelting stones at the Jamarat, has gone viral on social media.
India's Interior Minister has ordered the demolition of illegal buildings within 15 kilometres of the border with Pakistan. His office said Wednesday Home Minister Amit Shah is known for his hardline stance on national security, illegal migration and transnational crimes.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has urged the United States to provide more ammunition for its Patriot air defense systems to counter Russian ballistic missiles. According to a document reviewed by AFP on Wednesday, the appeal underscores Ukraine's almost total reliance on its Western allies to down Russian missile barrages, despite having pioneered a system for intercepting long-range drones that is the envy of some of the world's most advanced militaries.
A rare albino buffalo in Bangladesh, nicknamed Donald Trump for its distinctive blonde tuft, has been spared from Eid al-Adha sacrifice after a last-minute government intervention, a Home Ministry official said on Wednesday. The nearly 700-coupling animal had already been sold for ritual slaughter when authorities stepped in, citing security concerns after a surge of public interest ahead of Thursday's festival.
US President Donald Trump has said he is not satisfied yet with the terms of the deal being negotiated with Iran. He said Tehran was very much intent on reaching an agreement to end the conflict, but added so far they haven't gotten there, repeating Washington's willingness to resume strikes if one is not reached.
FIFA faces a subpoena from the states of New York and New Jersey as part of an investigation surrounding ticket pricing and accuracy of seat locations for the 2026 World Cup. In a joint news release on Wednesday, New York Attorney General Letitia James and New Jersey Attorney General Jennifer Davenport said prices for the 2026 World Cup matches far exceeded the prices for any previous World Cup tournament. Thea Energy has raised an oversubscribed $100 million Series B led by US Innovative Technology Fund. The fusion startup told TechCrunch the sum places the company among the better-funded fusion startups, giving it an improved chance at achieving a commercial reactor. The new funding will help Thea expand manufacturing for its uniquely designed smaller magnets and begin construction of EOS, its power plant relevant demonstration device, starting next year. Thea previously closed a $20 million Series A in early 2024. The new round brings total private investment to $130 million, the startup told TechCrunch.
Meta is doubling down on its subscription offerings. On Wednesday, the social networking giant announced it's now rolling out its consumer subscription plans globally for its flagship apps, Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp, and beginning tests of new subscriptions for businesses, creators, and Meta AI users. For a few dollars per month, consumers subscribing to Instagram Plus $3.99 Momo, Facebook Plus $3.99 Momo, or WhatsApp Plus $2.99 Mo will gain access to extra features like profile customization, super reactions, and story insights, among other things.
Climate change is making the world hotter and contributing to rising deaths. Now, researchers have found another serious health risk linked to the climate crisis. A new study has found that climate change may be increasing antibiotic resistance worldwide. Experts warn that this could create serious risks for human health.
Stargazers will get a rare lunar treat this weekend as a blue moon appears in the sky on May 31, 2026. However, the moon will not actually look blue. The term blue moon refers to timing, not colour. In this case, it means the second full moon in the same calendar month.
Zohran Mamdani, New York City's first Muslim mayor, marked Eid al-Adha by attending prayers in a custom Arsenal thobe. The outfit underscored both his long-professed love for Arsenal and his stated desire to embrace his Muslim identity publicly while serving in one of the highest-profile offices in American politics. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, in a telephonic conversation with Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian on Wednesday, hoped that a peace deal between Iran and the US could be finalized soon. The Prime Minister's office, in a statement, said that President Pezeshkian had telephoned PM Shehbaz to extend Eid greetings in a call that lasted around 30 minutes.